What's up, the Dynasty? Wish everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Sorry I missed out on the show last week. As you guys see, I spiced up a couple things with the league. Threw in some trophies, did a little this, a little that. So I'll get into a 2-week edition, you know what I'm saying? The extra helpings, extra servings, the fantasy flex. Hope y'all enjoy. Let's get down with it. So this will be 2 weeks ago right now. We'll get into those matchups, and then we'll get into the standings and all that so forth. So let's get into this one. Atlanta Hawks took on the Knicks 2 weeks ago. Knicks took that matchup 11-3. Next matchup, you had the Dallas Mavericks and the Chicago Bulls. Mavericks taking that one 10-4. Followed up by the Celtics and the Magic. That was a close one. The Magic edging out the Celtics in a score of 8-6. Another 8-6 matchup was between the Trailblazers and the Golden State Warriors. That tilt went in favor of the Warriors, who took the 8 instead of the 6. And then our last matchup of week 3, it looks like, was the San Antonio Spurs taking on the Lakers. Lakers killing that matchup 9-5. So they take that one, it goes their way. Lakers 3-1, you already know. And let's get up into last week's matchup. So we'll do a rewind, second helping, you know what I'm saying, this time. And we'll get up into this one. Week 4 went a little something like this. It put up the Magic up against the Knicks. That one, another tight one. That tilt went to the Magic. Score on that matchup 8-6. Shout outs to Mike on that matchup. Hard competitor to go up against. So he's got a good team, and man's gonna be there at the end. Portland Trailblazers took on the Celtics. 9-4-1 in favor of the Portland Trailblazers, so they take that one. Both teams right now currently 2-2. The 0-4 Chicago Bulls taking on the 2-2 Atlanta Hawks. 7-6-1 in favor of the Hawks, as you can tell already by the record, so I guess I shouldn't have gave that up. But however, it was a close matchup. It did end up in a tie, so that tie did swing the matchup in favor of the Hawks. Like I said, it was 7-6-1. Moving on up to our next matchup, that went between the Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs. The Dallas Mavericks killing that matchup this week, as you'll see later on in the trophies, taking that matchup 10-4. And in our last matchup of last week's matchups, that went between the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers taking that one 9-5. And, yo, that's how it went down last week. Let's get into a preview of what's going on this week before we get into the standings and the extra helpings, which would be pretty much basically the new trophies that I got, you know what I'm saying, going down. League leaders if I got some time. But let's see, because I think I only get like 10 minutes to upload. This week you got the 3-1 New York Knicks taking on the 2-2 Boston Celtics, followed up by the 2-2 San Antonio Spurs taking on the 2-2 Atlanta Hawks. So that, you know what I'm saying, both battling to get up in there, both teams 2-2. Got some good matchups this week. Next up you got the Los Angeles Lakers 3-1 taking on the Trailblazers 2-2, looking to keep their streaks moving. Then you got the Magic 3-1 taking on the Chicago Bulls 0-4 in their matchups respectively. And then in our last matchup of the week, you got here the Golden State Warriors, who are 1-3, taking on the Dallas Mavericks, who are standing at 2-2. Let's get up into now the standings, I guess, since I switched up the format. You got the two divisions, you know what I'm saying. You got the East Division, the West Division. Goes a little something like this. In the East side, you got two 3-1 teams, that being the Magic and the Knicks. Both of those teams 3-1, and they both have two teams that are one game back, which would be the Celtics and the Hawks. They are both 2-2, followed up by the Chicago Bulls, who are still looking for their first win of the season, who are 0-4. On the west side of things, you got the Lakers holding that down solely with his 3-1 record, but he's got three teams chasing him, one game back. Spurs, Trailblazers, Mavericks, all holding it down. You know what I'm saying, scheming up for that top spot in the West. All teams got 2-2 records, so important matchups this week so they can somebody claim out the West out there. Followed up by the Warriors, who are 1-3, 2 games back in that division. So if he gets to win, you know what I'm saying, he's still up in the hunt. It's still early. You know how it goes. Now let's flip it on over to the trophy side. Trophies, something new I added up. That's why I left out the Fantasy Flex last week. It was just some killer work for me. So let's check them out though. This week, you got the Jordan Trophy. That's the trophy for the most field goals in all the matchups. That right there going out to the Magic, who had 347 field goals made last week. Next up, you got Also with the Jordan trophy. Oh, excuse me. I missed. Yes. The Mavericks also have that one. They both tied with 347, so I'm not going to hate. Give out the trophy to both. It's when, you know what I'm saying, you got teams that got like three-way ties. I'm not going to hand out your trophy to three teams, you know what I'm saying. I ain't watering it down like that. But, you know what I'm saying, 347 is an amazing feat for a week, so I'm handing it out. Moving on up, you got the Malone trophy, who's next. That's for the most free throws made in all the matchups. Karl Malone, yes, folks, if you didn't know, is the all-time leader in field goals made. Not field goal, or free throws made, excuse me, not field goals. Not percentage, but actual free throws made in the game, free throws made in the career, free throws made, period. That went to the Orlando Magic. 214 free throws made last week throughout his matchups. Moving on up to our next matchup trophy would be the Sprewell trophy. Now people are like, yo, why Sprewell? I'm explaining the trophies because, you know what I'm saying, I got time right now. Pretty good into the show. I don't know if I had to speed it up or slow it down, but Sprewell trophy, you know what I'm saying, that's going down because the man, as a Knicks fan, they're like, yo, why not Reggie? Fuck Reggie. You know what I'm saying? Hate on the Miller. But I mean, Cheryl's better than his ass, but whatever. But as far as the Sprewell trophy, the man went 9 for 9 once in a game, so you know what I'm saying? 3-pointers made in a matchup. That's the way I'm looking at it. Most 3-pointers made. Most 3-pointers made in a matchup or in a game. Sprewell. However, we smooth that up. That's going over to the Golden State Warriors. 71 3-pointers made throughout last week's matchups. And now we move on up to the Rodman trophy because personal favorite of mine, you know what I'm saying? I like the big men. Rodman trophy's going because when you think Rodman, you think rebounds. That this week is going out with 430 rebounds to the New York Knicks, myself. And we'll move on up to the next trophy, which would be the Magic Johnson trophy, because Magic had the highest assist average per game with just over 10. That's going out to the Portland Trail Blazers this week with 216 assists throughout last week's matchups for week 4. The Stockton trophy, people are like, why not the Stockton trophy? Well, the Stockton trophy is for steals, not assists, because the man has the most steals ever. So that's how it's going down. That's why I'm passing it out. That's how it's relevant to me, and that's how it's going down in the league. So the Stockton trophy this week goes to Mr. DeBerry of the Los Angeles Lakers. 65 steals throughout week 4's matchups. So good looks for him on that one. Now we move on up to the Blocks trophy, which goes out to the Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon Award, or Olajuwon trophy. Most blocks throughout last week's matchups with 56 blocks. That's going out to Mr. Brown, owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Good looks on that one. Thanks for being active. Thanks for participating in the league. I do this for y'all, so that's why I'm keeping it moving. The Price trophy. Now, Mark Price is the guy that has the highest free throw percentage, so I give that out. Not all of my leagues have that, just because some are points, some is categories. In the points leagues, you don't really count the percentages. So, however, in here, the Price trophy is going down to this week to the Portland Trail Blazers with the high 80%, beating out the Bulls by 77 percentage points. So, good looks on that one. Competitive trophy to get this week. The Artist Gilmore trophy, or the Gilmore trophy, is for the highest field goal percentage throughout last week's matchups because he has the highest field goal percentage for a career. I mean, if you go by season, then that goes to Wilt and all that other stuff. But moving on up, next couple of trophies before these 10 minutes is up. You got the Chamberlain trophy. Speaking of Chamberlain, speaking of the devil, for the most points scored throughout the matchups with 976 points. That's going out to the Orlando Magic. So shout outs to Mike on that one. 976 points, just 24 points short of making a G or making 1,000 points. The I Killed It trophy. That's going to the winner this week. You know what I'm saying? Killing it, shooting it out. Winner by the largest margin throughout last week's matchups. That's going out to Mr. Tony Brown of the Dallas Mavericks, beating the Spurs with a 10-4 matchup. And the last but not least trophy is I got my ass handed to me. That's going out to the Spurs, who lost in their matchup 4-10. So obviously the last two trophies go hand in hand. Yo, that's the Fantasy Flex. Can't do league leaders, but yo, I got the trophies going down. Pay attention, keep looking. I do this for y'all. This is Flex. Flex out.
All the cash that we blow, we smoke. say, bro, it's a shame.